excuse me. Well, we got some news going on. We did lose a well-known actor named Cary Tagawa, who's a Japanese actor from Mortal Kombat. Um, but I'm doing this video and while waiting for my grocery orders to come in. Um, Good news, I landed my second job outside of my current one, so I'm going to be doing two jobs. I'm going to have be busy um, trying to make some money. So Cary Tagawa was a Japanese-born actor and film producer who was best known for his role as the evil shapeshifter sorcerer Shang Tsung in various works of the Mortal Kombat film series. Um, he first played the character in the 1995 the film adaptation, and he would reprise his role for the television series Mortal Kombat Legacy and then the 2019 video game. Um, he also appeared as Lieutenant A.J. Shimamura in 15 episodes of the American television series Nash Bridges. He would play various villains in movies, like the movie The Last Emperor, the last Bond film License to Kill, Showdown in Little Tokyo, American Me, Rising Sun, Mortal Kombat: The Phantom, Snowfall and Cedars, Pearl Harbor, Planet of the Apes, um, members of Agisha, Tekken, 47 Ronin, Tekken 2, and Kubu and the Two Strings, which came out in 2016. He would also appear on the show The Man in the High Castle, and also on the Netflix series Lost in Space from 2018 to 2021. He technically stopped acting in 2023. That's like when he retired. I do remember him in Mortal Kombat and Pearl Harbor and 47 Ronin and the Planet of the Apes. Now, Cary Tagawa was born in Tokyo, Japan. The son of a Japanese actress named Mariko Hada and a Japanese American father who served in the United States Army and was stationed in Fort Bragg. I loved Cary Tagawa as an actor. He was really great. One of my favorite actors outside of Danny Trejo and Al Pacino. And his father was stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Fort Polk, Louisiana, and Fort Hood, Texas. And his mother spoke English and Japanese, but he also spoke some Korean, Russian, and Spanish. I know very little Spanish, but not very much. Now, Tagawa was considered an army brat because he was raised in various different cities. His family settled in Southern California, where he began acting while attending Duarte High School. Now, he attended the University of Southern California and was an exchange student in Japan. He studied kendo and Shotokan karate under a guy named Nakayama at the Japan Karate Institute at the Japan Karate Association. Now, Tagawa's breakthrough as an actor came when he was cast as the eunuch Chang in The Last Emperor. In 1989, he played an undercover agent of the Hong Kong Narcotics Board in the James Bond film License to Kill. In 1991, he starred alongside Dolph Lundgren and the late Brandon Lee in the action film Showdown in Little Tokyo, where he played the role of a yakuza, which is Japanese mafia. He also starred alongside James Hong, Meiko Awamatsu, and Jeff Speakman in the same year in the film Perfect Weapon, where he played Kai, an assistant to the Korean mafia families. In 1993, he starred as the wayward scion of a Japanese industrialist and rising sun, and he appeared in the Mortal Kombat film 1995 as the evil sorcerer Shang Tsung, and he would reprise the role in the web series Mortal Kombat Legacy in 2013 and the video game Mortal Kombat 11 in 2019. He also appeared as the pirate leader Kabai in the film Phantom. Tagawa is among the actors, producers, and directors interviewed in the documentary The Slanted Screen in 2006, which was directed by a guy named Jeff Adachi about the representation of Asian actors and Asian American men in Hollywood. Tagawa played Heihachi in the movie Tekken and the Tekken 2. He also appeared as the character Johnny Tsunami in the film Johnny Tsunami, and he would reprise that role in Johnny Tsunami Back on the Board. But in between those two films, Tagawa played Adder's mentor Kroll in Tim Burton's version of Planet of the Apes. In 2015, Tagawa converted to Eastern Orthodoxy, and in 2016 he acquired Russian citizenship. But in the early morning hours of December 4th, 2025, Tagawa was found dead at his home from complications due to a stroke in a Santa Barbara, California home. Also, another person that died, and this was accidental, was Elden Campbell. And Elden Campbell was a basketball player that played back in the early 90s up until like 2005. And you'll see a couple of these things in a minute here. I guess I'm gonna have to pull that back up. Hold on. So this is Cary, the guy that died from Mortal Kombat. Like I said, one of the greatest actors to ever actually grace the screen. So we'll close that one out, and then we'll go to Elden Campbell right here. But his death was accidental. So let's get to Elden Campbell here. So here's Elden Campbell, close-up picture. And that guy was only 57 years old, but his death was accidental due to drowning. So Elden Campbell was born Eldon Jerome Campbell on July 23rd, 1968. He died technically last week, but it was accidental, like I was saying. Was an American professional basketball player who was a center in the National Basketball Association from 1990 to 2005, and he spent primarily his career with the Lakers. He played college basketball for the Clemson Tigers, earning honorable mention All-American honors as a senior in 1990. Campbell was drafted by the Lakers in the first round of the 1990 NBA draft at the 27th overall pick, and he spent his first 9 years in the NBA with the Lakers and the rest with various other teams, and he won an NBA title with the Detroit Pistons in 2004. Born in Los Angeles, California, Campbell attended Morningside High School in Inglewood, California, before playing college basketball for Clemson University. Now he earned the third team All Atlantic Coast Conference (ACC) honors from the Associated Press as a sophomore in 1987 and 1988, where he would average 18 points per game. He was a second team All ACC selection in his junior year in the Tigers' 1988 to 1989 squad, and then they advanced to the 1989 NCAA tournament as a senior in 1989 to 1990. Campbell led his team to a 26-9 record and the program's only regular season ACC title. He was named an honorable mention All-American and the first team All ACC in the 1990 NCAA tournament. Clemson would lose to Connecticut on a buzzer beater. Campbell scored 1,880 career points at Clemson, and he holds the school record for points and is second in blocks with his college team at 334. He wore two different numbers, 41 and 5. He was 7'1" and weighed 279 pounds. The Los Angeles Lakers selected Campbell with the 27th pick in the 1990 NBA draft as a rookie in 1990 to 1991. He was a reserve during Magic Johnson's last full season in the NBA, which marked the end of the Lakers Showtime era. In the 1991 NBA Finals against the Chicago Bulls, Campbell played just only 6 minutes in the first 4 games before scoring 21 points in 27 minutes. In Game 5 loss that clinched the title for the Bulls, he had a breakthrough season in his 4th year. We're talking about Elden Campbell, who was a basketball player that died. Also, Cary tagawa died. Both Cary tagawa was the actor from Mortal Kombat, and Elden Campbell was a basketball player. They both passed away this week, in the last week or so. So Elden Campbell, like I was saying, had played just 6 minutes in the first 4 games before scoring 21 points in 27 minutes in the Game 5 loss that clinched the title for the Bulls. But he had a breakthrough season in his 4th year in 1993 to 1994, where he averaged 12 points and 6 rebounds per game for a struggling squad that suffered its worst record in 44 years with a 40% winning percentage, which is not good at all. He launched his most productive stretch with the Lakers, a five season span from 1993 to 1998, where he averaged 12 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game, including a career high of 15 points per game during the 1996 to 1997 season, where he played alongside Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. On March 10th of 1999, Campbell was traded by the Lakers alongside Eddie Jones to the Charlotte Hornets for Glenn Rice, J.R. Reid, and B.J. Armstrong. He missed out on the O'Neal and Bryant-led Lakers teams that won 3 consecutive NBA championships in the early 2000s. Now, Campbell's longest tenures were with the Lakers and the Hornets, and both Charlotte and New Orleans. He also played with the Seattle Supersonics and briefly for the New Jersey Nets. He played most of his final 2 seasons. With the Detroit Pistons, winning an NBA title in 2004 over the Lakers and losing the 2005 NBA Finals in 7 games to the San Antonio Spurs. He had joined the Pistons on a 2-year, $8 million contract in 2003, turning down more lucrative offers in order to join a championship contender. Now, Elden Campbell played in 65 games with 27 starts in 2003 to 2004, where he would average about 6 points and 3 rebounds and 1 block per game in 13 minutes. He did not complain when he was moved to the bench after playing in just 9 games of Detroit's first 18 playoff games. His minutes doubled from earlier rounds, and he played in every game of the 2004 NBA Finals as a valuable defender against the Lakers center Shaquille O'Neal. Campbell was the first player off the bench for either team in Game 1, when he established personal highs for that postseason of 18 minutes and 6 points and 4 assists the following season. He defended O'Neal who had moved to the Miami Heat in the 2005 Eastern Conference Finals. Now Elden Campbell's 15-year career composed of 1,044 games, of which he started 671 of those, and 106 playoff games, of which he started 53. In 15 seasons, he averaged about 10 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game, and he had 1,602 career blocks, which ranked him as 35th in NBA history as of 2025. Now Campbell was the Lakers' leading scorer in the 1990s, and he ranks third in career blocks in franchise history with 1,022. His nicknames were Easy and Big E because of how tall he was. He was 7'1", so he was considered to be tall. So in 2000, Campbell was inducted into the Clemson College Hall of Fame. In 2024, Campbell was selected for the 2025 class of the Southern California Basketball Hall of Fame. Campbell died of an accidental drowning while fishing in Pompano Beach, Florida on December 1st of 2025 at the age of 57. He was married to his wife, Rosemary, and they had 4 kids together. That's all it really says about how he died. Also, let's go to baseball news, because there is a couple of baseball things I want to get to. There's reports that Kyle Schwarber is heading back to the Phillies on a 5-year deal where he spent the last 4 or 5 years. So he's going to finish out his career there possibly. He's 32 years old. So 5 years will put him at 37. The deal's for 150 million. I wish the Cubs would have kept him because I am a Cubs fan. Okay, December 9th, Kyle Schwarber and the Philadelphia Phillies have reached an agreement on a 5-year deal that would keep him there. For 150 million. Schwarber briefly was a free agent after leading was briefly a free agent. In the next few days, in the next few days or so, I gotta make sure I gotta look at my schedule. Maybe Friday, because I'm taking the day off work. I just gotta talk to my supervisor to see if he's okay with that. On December 9th, Kyle Schwarber and the Philadelphia Phillies reached an agreement on a 5-year, $150 million contract. ESPN reported on Tuesday morning. Schwarber briefly was a free agent after leading the National League with 56 homers and the majors with 132 RBIs last season. The three-time All-Star batted .240 with 111 runs and finished second in the National League MVP voting. Now, also on Tuesday, the Phillies extended the manager Rob Thompson's contract going up to 2027. Schwarber is 32 years old. He's going to be 33 in next year, sometime in March or so. Is established as one of the top power. He's considered to be one of the top power bats in the majors. He has hit 100. He hit 187 homers in his 4 seasons with the Phillies and 340 in his career. And his career started with the Cubs in 2015. And Schwarber was also on the team when the Cubs won the World Series in 2016. Now, Schwarber would end up joining the Phillies in 2022 on a 4-year, $79 million contract. Prior to returning to Philadelphia, Schwarber was pursued by the National League East rival, New York Mets, as well as his former team, Boston Red Sox, which he played for briefly. Yeah, I'm trying to take work off on Friday, and that's a personal day for me. Prior to returning to Philadelphia, Schwarber was pursued by the National League East rival New York Mets, as well as the Boston Red Sox, Baltimore Orioles, Pittsburgh Pirates, and his hometown Cincinnati Reds. Now with Schwarber and Thompson, the Phillies won the National League East for a second straight season this year, but also lost in the National League Division Series for the second straight season. Now Thompson, who's 62, took over Joe Girardi in June of 2022 and guided Philadelphia to a World Series that season, losing to the Houston Astros in 6 games. Now the Phillies lost to the Arizona Diamondbacks in 7 games in the 2023 National League Championship Series, and they fell to the Mets in 4 games in the 2024 National League Division Series, and they lost to to Los Angeles Dodgers in 4 games in the 2025 Division Series. Now Thompson has compiled a record of 346 wins and 251 losses in the regular season and 21 and 17 in the playoffs. Now, with Wandering Gamer, if you're gonna tune into the stream on Friday, if I can get that day off, my stream on Rusty the King will be about Prohibition, about the Prohibition era. Let's get into sports news and see who won and who didn't. For basketball yesterday, and Indiana Pacers won 116. They beat Sacramento 116 to 105. Tonight there's only 2 teams playing: Miami Heat against Orlando Magic and New York Knicks against Toronto Raptors. Wow, okay. Why did I think there'd be more games today? And then the Phoenix Suns beat the Timberwolves 108 to 105. And then the Spurs beat the Pelicans 135-132. And then my college team won the other day, 75-62. They beat, I think, was it? God, I forget who the hell they beat. Now, 'cause I was looking at it the other day. It might have been Tennessee, but I don't remember. Let's go to more sports here. Oh, crap. Okay. And then my college team is Big Ten. My college team is University of Illinois. And my second college team after that is DePaul. So those are the two that I follow the most. Um, let's see what we got here. Yeah, but once I start my second job in the next week or so, it's going to be trying to figure out what days I'm going to be working, and hopefully getting enough money to go back, like back and forth, and hopefully I have enough to cover it. Let's see here. I usually follow Big Ten, so Big Ten is my conference that I like the most for college basketball. Oh, they're playing tonight. Okay, they're playing Ohio State tonight. On Peacock at 6:30. Okay, that's good. At least I can watch my college team today on Peacock. And that's gonna be a tough one. Illinois is 7-2, and they're playing Ohio State, who's 7-1. Okay, well, one of them's gonna come out the winner. Hopefully, it's Illinois. And because it is December, we did get a lot of snow in my town where I live at. I'll show you that in a minute. Anyway, just have to look out my window and you'll see it. Okay, here, Mom. And I'm not really big on the snow anyway. I hate snow. But yeah. But here, you can see that. See, there's our snow. And I got into the swimming pool and froze the water, but we're gonna need to clean that out to use it for next year. But yeah, that's all snow. Yeah, it's a bitch trying to get all that. Let's get into baseball news here and see if there's anything on baseball news reported. Because baseball's my other team too. Okay, so yeah, here, hold on here. Okay, here, let's see what we got here. Okay, the Dodgers, so the Dodgers signed ex-Mets closer Edwin Diaz and they signed him to a 3-year deal. So the Los Angeles Dodgers got the best closer on the free agent market on Tuesday, reaching a 3-year deal for $69 million with former New York Mets reliever Edwin Diaz. Sources told ESPN's Jeff Passan and Jorge Castillo on Tuesday. Now, the deal by the Dodgers, who were targeting bullpen help this winter, sets an average annual value record for a relief pitcher. Diaz is a 3-time All-Star, and he logged a 1.63 ERA and converted 28 out of 31 saves for the Mets this season, with an elite combination of high velocity fastball and a vicious slider. Diaz is 31 years old, but he has posted high strikeout rates throughout his career. In 2025, Diaz struck out 98 batters in 66 innings pitched while walking just only 14 batters. which is unheard of, basically. But well, I mean, striking out 98 batters is not unheard of, but walking only 14 just in the year is actually highly unheard of. Um, Now the Dodgers went into the offseason with a clear need in the back end of the bullpen after their relievers combined for a 4.27 ERA and blew 27 saves, tied for the most in the majors. Their state of the bullpen was so fucking bad heading into October that the Dodgers used their starting pitching depth to supplement it, transitioning Roki Sasaki to a closer while using the likes of Emmett Sheehan, Robolowski, and at times Tyler Glasnow in various relief roles. Um, Now Edwin Diaz now solidifies the ninth inning, but Tanner Scott, the Dodgers hope will bounce back from a disastrous first season, in LA lined up as his setup man. The likes of Alex Vesia, Trinan, Anthony Banda, and Brustar Gratterall, the latter of whom is coming back from a shoulder surgery. Um, headline that organization believes to be a deep crop of relievers. Um, Hold on here. Getting a high leverage reliever is not a bad thing because that's what you want. Manager Dave Roberts told reporters Monday at the MLB winter meetings in Orlando, Florida. Now that their biggest need has been addressed, the Dodgers are expected to target an outfielder, likely through a trade. Now, Edwin Diaz opted out of the final 2 years that was remaining on his contract, and usually when you do that, that means the team that you had the 2 years left remaining on have to pay him still. Now Diaz opted out of the 2 year, $38 million contract that remained on the 5 year deal that he signed to remain with the Mets in 2022. The contract was considered a rare 5 year commitment, even for a relief pitcher. But it ended after 3 seasons once he decided to test that open market. Um, Now Diaz was tendered a $22 million qualifying offer by the Mets, which he declined on the November 18 deadline because he signed with the new team. New York Mets will receive a compensatory draft pick after the fourth round. Now, the Mets on December 1st signed Devin Williams to a 3 year, $51 million deal as an insurance policy should Diaz go elsewhere. So, now Diaz's time with the Mets was marked by wild year-to-year swings. He posted an ERA under 200 3 times, but in other years he was at 345 or worse, blowing 6 saves or more in each of those 3 campaigns. Now, Diaz missed the 2023 season altogether after suffering a serious knee injury while celebrating a save in that year's World Baseball Classic. The Mets acquired him in a 2018 deal as part of a 7-player trade with the Seattle Mariners. Now his 253 career saves since entering the majors in 2016 are tied with Raisel Iglesias for second, behind Kenley Jansen with 334 during that span, according to ESPN research. And Kenley Jansen's getting up there in age. I'm not sure when he's going to retire because he is like 38 years old. Let's go with free agency tracker. Let's see what we can find on free agency tracker, telling you who's all free. Oh, come on, damn it. So we got the 2025-2026 MLB hot stove was lit just days after the Los Angeles Dodgers hoisted their second consecutive World Series championship trophy. All eyes this winter are on free agent hitting class featuring Kyle Tucker. Kyle Schwarber is actually not going anywhere. He's returning to the Phillies on a 5 year deal. Then you got Cody Bellinger, Alex Bregman, and Pete Alonso, but they're not the only ones who will likely make a splash in the free agency market. Um, I haven't seen nothing on the Cubs yet, so I don't know if the Cubs signed anybody or not, but I'm seeing Cincinnati, I'm seeing, now World Series hero Miguel Rojas is returning to the Dodgers, um, for 2026 and what he said will be his final year before retiring. The infielder agreed to a 1-year, $5 million deal, after which he will be assisting front office and helping in player development after he retires. Um, Right-handed pitcher Dylan Cease and the Toronto Blue Jays agreed to a 7-year deal, $210 million contract, which will keep him there until 2033. The Boston Red Sox acquired veteran Sonny Gray in a trade from the St. Louis Cocksuckers. Now the New York Mets and Texas Rangers agreed to a trade. Had agreed to a trade. Now, Marcus Semien will head to the Mets, and Brandon Nimmo will go to the Rangers. I think I did a video on that last week. Okay, the only thing I see for the Cubs here, is the Chicago Cubs and right-handed pitcher, who's a reliever, Phil Maton, agreed on a 2-year deal. Okay, the other thing is, Shota Imanaga agreed to stay with the Cubs for an extra year. Possibly he could be a free agent after next year. Hopefully not. First baseman Josh Naylor and the Seattle Mariners have finalized a 5-year deal for $92 million. That has a full no trade clause and no deferrals. Basically, if you have a no trade clause, the team can't trade you unless you agree to it. You do get the winter meetings coming up, and spring training starts in February. Also, I didn't realize this, but I was looking this up the other day, that Michael Douglas, the actor, has retired from acting, stating that his age is a factor as to why he's retiring. Michael Douglas is 81 years old, and he's a hell of an actor too. And I didn't even know he had retired from acting or even announced it. And he is married to Catherine Zeta-Jones. Let's see here. Yep, here's Michael Douglas. I loved him as an actor. That's Michael Douglas when he was really, really young. He looks just like his father, Kirk, when he was younger. Um, and like I said, I didn't even know Michael Douglas had even retired from acting. So we'll put this up there. So Michael Kirk Douglas was born September 25th, 1944, as an American retired actor and film producer. So he has received numerous accolades, including 2 Academy Awards, 5 Golden Globe Awards, a Primetime Emmy Award, and the Cecil B. DeMille Award, and the AFI Lifetime Achievement Award. Hold on a second. Checking my grocery order. Wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. So Michael Douglas is the oldest son of Kirk Douglas and Diana Dill. Douglas earned his Bachelor's of Arts in Film from the University of California, Santa Barbara. He produced One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in 1975, having acquired the rights to the novel from his father, and later earned the Academy Award for Best Picture as a producer. Now, Douglas won the Academy Award for Best Actor for his portrayal of Gordon Gekko in the movie Wall Street back from 1987, which is a great movie, by the way. And he would reprise the role in the sequel Wall Street Money Never Sleeps. Other notable roles include The China Syndrome, Romancing the Stone, The Jewel of the Nile, Fatal Attraction, which is a fucked up movie, by the way, but it's good. The War of the Roses, Basic Instinct, Falling Down, The American President, The Game, Traffic, Wonder Boys, and Solitary Man. Now, on television, he started his career earning 3 consecutive Emmy Award nominations for playing a homicide inspector in the ABC police procedural series The Streets of San Francisco from 72 to 76. He won the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Miniseries or a Movie for portraying Liberace in Behind the Candelabra, and the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor Television Series, a musical or comedy for playing an agent acting coach in Netflix comedy The Kaminsky Method. He played Benjamin Franklin in the Apple TV miniseries Franklin in 2024, and from 2015 to 2023, he would portray the character Hank in the Marvel Cinematic Universe Ant-Man. He announced his retirement from acting in 2025, stating his age and desire to spend more time with his wife and his family as being the deciding factors for him. Because, like I said, he is 81, so yeah. But look at Al Pacino. Al Pacino's 85 and still acting. So is Robert De Niro. They're still acting and they're in their 80s. Um, Now, Douglas has received notice for his humanitarian and political activism. He sits on the board of the Nuclear Threat Initiative as an honorary board member of the Anti-War Grant Making Foundation, Making Foundation funds, and he was appointed as a United Nations Messenger of Peace in 1998. Since 2000, he's been married to the actress Catherine Zeta-Jones. Now, Douglas, now Kirk Doug, so Michael Douglas was born in New Brunswick, New Jersey, the first child of actors Kirk Douglas, who was born his father was born in 1916 and died in 2020, and his mother Diana was born in 1923 and died in 2015. His parents met at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. It's very rare that you ever see somebody who's in their 70s and have their parents still alive. Michael Douglas was in his 70s when his parents both died, um, which is kind of unheard of. Now his father was Jewish, and his mother was born, and his father was born Israel Daniel Olvich. Michael's paternal grandparents were immigrants from the Russian Empire, which is present day Belarus. His mother was from Devonshire Parish, Bermuda, and she had English, Irish, Scottish, Welsh, French, Belgian, and Dutch ancestry. Douglas's uncle was politician Sir Nicholas Bayard Dill, and Douglas's maternal grandfather, Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Melville Dill, served as an Attorney General for Bermuda, as a member of the Parliament of Bermuda, and as commanding officer of the Bermuda militia artillery. Douglas is a U.S. citizen by birth in the United States and has Bermudan status from his mother's birth in Bermuda. Now, his great grandfather, Thomas Newbold Dill, born in 1837 and died in 1910, was a merchant and an MCP for Devonshire Parish from 1868 to 1888. He was a member of the Legislative Council and Assistant Justice from 1888, mayor of the city of Hamilton from 1891 to 1897, and he served on numerous committees and boards, and was a member of the Devonshire Church, which is the Church of England, and the Devonshire Parish Vestries. Newbold Dill's father, another Thomas Melville Dill, was a sea captain who took the Bermudian built bark Sir George F. Seymour from Bermuda to Ireland in 13 days in March of 1858, but lost his master's certificate after the wreck of the Bermudian built Seadron on the Isle of Wight while returning the last convict laborers from the Royal Naval Dockyard in Bermuda to Britain in 1863. The current captain of the current captain of the Royal Naval Dockyard, which was installed on May 29th of 2013, Bishop of Bermuda, the Right Reverend Nicholas Dill, is a cousin of Michael Douglas. Um, Now Douglas has a younger brother and two half brothers. Douglas has a younger brother, Joel Douglas, and he has two half brothers, Peter Douglas, born in 1955, and his one brother Eric, who was born in 1958 and died in 2004 from his stepmom Ann Bidens, who Kirk Douglas would marry after he divorced Diane or something like that. Now, Douglas attended the Allen Stevenson School in New York City, Eagle Brook School in Deerfield, Massachusetts, and the Choate Preparatory School, which is now the Choate Rosemary Hall, in Wallingford, Connecticut. He received his BA in Dramatic Art from the University of California, Santa Barbara, in 1968, where he was also the honorary president of the UC Alumni Association. Now, Douglas would start his acting career in the late 1960s and early 1970s, appearing in little-known films such as Hail Hero, Adam at 6 a.m., and Summer Tree. His performance in Hail Hero earned him a nomination for the Golden Globe Award for Most Promising Male Newcomer. On November 24th of 1969, Douglas formed his first independent film production company called Big Stick Productions Limited. Now, his first TV breakthrough role came in 1969 in the CBS Playhouse special, The Experiment, and it was the only time he was billed. And at that time, he was billed as M.K. Douglas, which is the one and only time that he ever was billed as that. His first significant role came in the TV series The Streets of San Francisco, which ran from 72 to 76, in which he starred alongside Carl Malden. Douglas later said that Malden became a mentor and someone he admired and deeply appreciated. After Douglas left the show, he had a long-time association with Malden until Malden's death on July 1st, 2009. Now, in 2004, Douglas presented Malden with the Monte Cristo Award at the Eugene O'Neill Theater Center in Waterford, Connecticut, for the Lifetime Achievement Award. In late 1971, Michael Douglas received from his father, Kirk, the rights to the novel One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which had been purchased by the Bryn Ub Productions in February 1962. Michael went on to produce the film of the same name with Cell since. Now, Kirk hoped to portray Randall McMurphy himself, having starred in an earlier stage version, but the director Milos Forman went with Jack Nicholson instead, who won the Academy Award for Best Actor. Douglas won the Academy Award for Best Picture for producing the film, but in December of 1976, Michael and his brother Peter became head of their father's film production company, the Brenna Company, though Michael would depart by 1978 to focus exclusively on producing through his own Big Stick Productions. Now, after leaving the streets of San Francisco in 1976, Douglas portrayed a hospital doctor in the medical thriller Coma in 1978, and in 1979, he played the role of a troubled marathon runner in Running. In 1979, he both produced and starred in the Channel Syndrome, a dramatic film co-starring Jane Fonda and Jack Lemmon, about a nuclear power plant accident. The 3 Mile Island accident took place 12 days after the film's release. The film was considered one of the most intelligent Hollywood films of the 1970s. In June of 1979, Douglas appointed Jack Brodsky as executive vice president of Big Stick Productions. Douglas's acting career was propelled to fame when he produced and starred in the 1984 film romantic adventure comedy Romancing the Stone, which I've never seen, but it also reintroduced Douglas as a capable leading man, given director Robert Zemeckis as his first box office success. The film would also star Kathleen Turner and Danny DeVito, who is a friend of Michael Douglas, with whom he had shared an apartment with in the 1960s. It was followed a year later by a sequel called The Jewel of the Nile, which he also produced and starred in. Big Stick Productions was then partnered with Mercury Entertainment, a company backed by producer Michael Phillips in 1986, to produce independently financed films. In the 1980s, Douglas formed a new film production company, the Stone Group, later renamed Stonebridge Entertainment, with partner Rick Bieber. In 1987, Michael Douglas would star in the thriller in the fucked up thriller Fatal Attraction with which he starred alongside Glenn Close. The same year, he also played tycoon Gordon Gekko in Oliver Stone's the Wall Street film, for which he received an Academy Award for Best Actor, and he would reprise his role as Gekko in the sequel Wall Street Money Never Sleeps, which again was directed by Oliver Stone. Okay. Got my grocery order in about 10 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna cut this video short in a minute. But yeah, but Michael Douglas had retired from acting. I didn't know it. But I'm gonna let you guys go. And on Friday on the Rest of the King channel, possibly Friday, I don't know for sure yet. I'm gonna be streaming on on the prohibition of alcohol from when it was banned until it became legal to sell. So keep in mind for that on Friday. But I'll let you guys go, and I hope you guys enjoyed.